30 degrees. Indianapolis Center, do you have any test operations restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue descent at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. They're right by us right now.
There are 1,000 UFO sightings reported around the world every month. 90% of these sightings can be explained, but 10% cannot. Officially and unofficially, the U.S. military has been investigating UFOs since 1947. Their top secret goal is to find out what's behind these unexplained sightings. The Pentagon classifies them as unusual airborne anomalies, but a better term is X-Files. Join us now as Mack, Wanwan, and Commander Cobra explore these unsolved cases, UFO incidents that baffle even the U.S. military. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. And now, here's Mack Maloney.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. But listen, let me introduce the members of the posse, please. Girls, get ready. Strap yourselves in. How about that? Sit down, get your fan, get your mister, get your big box of Kleenex, your big box of wipes, and that extra large squeegee, because the very famous one is here.
You betcha. Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Are you strapped in? That's good.
Okay.
Handcuffs or leather?
Take your pick.
What do you
Cuffs or
think?
leather. I was thinking of a seatbelt there, my friend, but that's okay.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe you were. I'm happy to be on the show, by the way. I'm
Yes.
looking forward to it.
Yes. Okay.
Had a good day out and about. And,
Oh, good. Okay.
looking to provide some meaningful content to the show tonight.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah.
That shows initiative. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of initiative, he's up there in his compound in Maine, and he's displaying a Wile E. Coyote image behind him. Not sure what that means, because Wile E. always usually loses, right?
That's not completely true. It's always a pleasure to be on the wing, Mac. Wile E. Coyote,
Chicken wing.
have brain, will travel, is on his business card. So the business card, Wile E. Coyote,
Right.
genius.
And he
So,
only uses Acme products.
Is
too,
right.
by
I was
the
going to say
No,
maybe.
it's Acme, not Acme.
Yeah,
It's an
Acme.
M, not an
Right.
N.
way. I said
1-1.
Acme.
Yeah.
I said Acme.
Okay. Hey. All right.
It sounds like you're talking about pimples. 1-1.
Oh, come
It's
on.
Acme.
Where's my sound
All
effects?
right. Jeez. It's mocking my accent.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
My enunciation, whatever.
And if I may add on your precious time here, Mac, that on the rudders of my airplane, it has two rudders, is Wile E. Coyote strangling the Roadrunner.
Oh, really? Kind of a revenge thing. Kind of a revenge vibe.
and there's a really great story behind it for a different.
Okay. Another show? Is that what you're saying?
No, it could be in this show, but just a different time.
Okay.
I always pulled for the coyote. You know, every episode it was like, "Come on, coyote, you can do this.
And yet, what
You
happened?
get that Roadrunner."
Okay.
Should have got a name brand instead of Acme.
Our sound effects machine is working, so we can go on.
Remember the Roadrunner car? That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, those were awesome. Those were insane. Speaking of insanity, I'm sorry for that. Switchy, but up there in Battle Creek, Michigan, the Battle Creek of the Republic, is our national correspondent, Switchblade Steve Ward. Switchy.
I am happy to be here as the national correspondent.
Okay. And how are you today?
I am beyond wonderful.
That's his brand, man.
Beyond
okay.
one for BW.
We're going to get back to you. Okay, not BBW, BW.
Okay, did you get any Frosted Flakes this week? I heard Kellogg's.
Yeah, what's
going on
happened?
strike or
Kellogg's
something.
on strike. Something's happening there. Is that
Yeah.
true? He doesn't know.
Did you hear that, Switchy? I heard on the
I
news.
got a little bit of stock at the house, but
You better stock up. Yeah, it sounds bad. Okay. Now let me introduce the two beauties among the beasts. Okay. First of all, in the studio with us is the very lovely Lois Lane. Lois.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
She is.
Hi, Lois.
Yeah. Wow. That didn't
Good to
sound
see
too.
ya.
That didn't sound too creepy.
Can
did
I
it?
stay after
Oh,
class
no,
with you?
not creepy at all. The creepy factor, not from 1-1.
I've been
hardly
bad.
registered.
I've been bad, and I got a detention. I just stay after class.
Oh my God. And
I'm trying not to say what I was about to say. That's what was going on.
hoping they don't gang up on us up there in upstate New York, our favorite good witch, Raven, is here. Raven, how are you? Raven.
Hello, my friends. I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Raven.
Now,
Good to see you.
that was no less creepy either. Listen, let me just paint the picture here.
What? What's creepy about that?
Nothing. Let me paint the picture. First of all, it looks like a one-bun night for everyone keeping score, but also she has back on the killer librarian glasses, right? Is that the pair that everyone was talking about
it is
2 weeks ago? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
I like those.
Stole them right off of a maniac librarian.
Yes, very good. And Halloween's coming up, so, Anyway, let's take a lot of screenshots of that tonight because we're getting requests for various kinds of photographs, and we'll go into that
Photographs?
off air. So, okay, so we're all here, and
How come we don't have a YouTube channel yet? That's what we need. It's a YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel, the problem with the YouTube channel is that I've been told that we should be on delay, and no one can kind of figure out how to delay YouTube.
Huh. Really?
Well, only because
That would be a live production. So you need to use one of the Periscopes or something like that where you could record the program and then upload it to YouTube after you have a finished product.
All right. So it wouldn't be live.
Yeah,
You don't want a live broadcast.
I didn't want to go YouTube live.
Like you need to edit it and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that we actually, for the folks who are listening, we hardly ever edit the shows. It's pretty much one shot, one take, and we just roll to the next thing.
So you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose that. That's the thing.
Sometimes the police are knocking at the door.
No, is that the police? I thought it was Bob the Ghost. Hey, listen. So anyway, tonight.
Because I heard one of you guys talk about the librarian channel. What's that all about?
The librarian channel.
Then you can see the Roadrunner.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I love it.
There you go.
Great.
He does
That's
win
on the
every
rudder
once
of
in a
the
while,
airplane.
right?
Is it?
On each
That's
rudder,
fantastic.
yes. There's a great story behind it for a different time later.
Wow,
I can't
real
wait to hear
revenge. Revenge.
Are you licensed to use that graphic, that likeness?
Yeah, Warner Bros. will
Yes.
come down.
Or
Yes, he's
Yes,
got permission. He got
Yes.
permission from Mel Blanc.
Thanks for checking the IP, One.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell
And
you.
I'm sure all the Windows products that you've installed on your customers.
Stop.
Everything had a
stop.
license.
It's properly
at the time.
licensed and
It's properly
documented.
licensed.
So
If
One
you
is
haven't
the-
glad handed anything along.
Please.
Thanks, One. Thanks for the safety tip.
I need
I
One.
really
IP
appreciate
police.
that. Let me get a quick message out to Bill Gates. One, your loyal servant is doing a great job.
That's right.
Hey, listen, I need him to sanitize my computer, so go easy on him. Look. So tonight's, we have a guest on tonight.
I wear gloves too when I'm doing it.
Sylvia, thank you. We all appreciate that. Sylvia McKelvey has written a book called Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. Okay? I mean, the title says it all. It should be very interesting.
I agree.
And also, who knows what else we have going on. But let's go. Two things we're going to do first. Let's go to Switchy first. Everyone wants to know. Then we're going to do a top 10. Switchy, he's already drinking. Looks like he's drinking coffee right now. But anyway, we did get a email, a fan letter. I'm not sure if it made it to your desk or not, but someone wrote and said, tell Switchy that this morning I had 2 Hostess Zingers and hot
Yes, I
black
did get
coffee for breakfast. Okay, so I'm trying to figure, what are Zingers? Are they like yodels or something?
No, they're a Hostess. I don't know. They're like zingers.
Zingers.
Yeah, they're a
Little
square.
pack.
They're a square, kind of like
Chocolate or-
a Twinkie,
Yeah,
kind of like a
it's clarity to
Twinkie
it.
shaped
They're about
device.
this long and
Yeah.
that wide. And
Yeah. It's just like a...
You're still talking about confections, right? There,
Wow.
I hope so.
See, both,
absolutely.
both you girls, close your eyes. So anyway,
Sounds like the channel I
Doesn't matter. We're not on YouTube yet.
we're having some research right here. Zingers. Oh, wow. Yeah, they look like Twinkies.
like a Twinkie
If
with
a-
frosting on the top.
Yeah, if a
and
Twinkie-
they're chocolate.
If a
They're much
Twinkie...
superior to a Twinkie.
Right.
They
If
didn't say they were a Twinkie. I was trying to
I know.
give
Hang on.
Matt the
I'm just
general
saying.
shape and configuration here.
Let me paint the picture. If a Twinkie and a Yodel get married, this would be their kid. Okay. All right, look. Okay, so
Confectionery
now that we're
of
talking about food, so
So
switch
he had 2 of them, right? So he had a
Two of
balanced
them.
breakfast.
and black. Yes, he had and black coffee. So, Switch, what did you? Speaking of breakfast, what did you have this morning?
Wouldn't you rather know what I had yesterday morning?
Yes, of course.
Yesterday morning, I had 2 eggs over easy, 2 sausage, 2 bacon, 2 pieces of white toast,
Yes.
no hash browns, orange juice, and black coffee.
Did you say no hash browns?
No hash
No hash browns.
What do you
Because normally it would come with hash browns, but I did not
Wow.
have hash browns.
Trying to cut down on the carbs.
Yeah, right. That's good. That's healthy. So that's good. Okay, so what? That's not a grand slam. What do they call that? A triple? That's something.
They just call it breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay, cool.
Sounds like a breakfast menage a trois.
That's the Midwest for you. Everything is simple.
Never going to look at eggs over easy the same way.
The last tango in Michigan.
He did say 2 sausages, folks, but look at. Let's move on. So okay, so Switchy, did you? This is at Denny's.
Yes.
Okay, and who waited on you?
Vanessa.
Okay, Vanessa. Okay, let's write that down.
It already sounds like 50 Shades.
Does Vanessa have one of the much vaunted and valued and sought after coasters from the Mack Maloney
no, she doesn't.
Wow.
50 Shades of Breakfast.
My military discount.
Yeah, well, I imagine what will happen once she has the much vaunted, sought after Mack Maloney's Military X-Files coaster.
Yes.
Well, she'd probably jump in the air and click her heels.
Oh, wow. Okay. Then what happens?
Well, hopefully she'll land on
Okay.
Safely.
Okay. Hey, Juan, did you say 50 Shades of Breakfast?
They did. That's what this segment's becoming.
That's very fun. That's funny.
I would read that book. That
Yes.
sounds way more interesting
He said he was going
than
to
a real book.
contribute to the show, and already here he is, hitting freaking home runs. Anyway,
had Raven do dramatic readings from 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, we've
You know,
had
Selection every week.
Yeah.
we've had
How about
requests for
50
that
Shades
too.
of Breakfast?
Yes.
And let's keep it a family show.
So, Switch, so how much did you? So this cost, I believe, $12, $13, $12,
Something like that, between 12 and 14. I don't remember exactly.
And what you
And you
leave?
tip $6.
Here we go. No.
Uh,
$10.
$10.
Right in between, $8.
$8. Okay,
bucks.
yeah, middle. You know,
Okay.
okay,
That's
yeah.
good.
Gold star for you.
See, but here's the problem. He's tipped her $10 before, so if he gives her $8, she's going to go, "Hey, what's wrong with him?"
Well, not necessarily.
What did I do wrong?
I have different waitresses sometimes.
Oh, I thought you.
And,
she was your favorite.
I mean, they must know I'm not made of money,
Why would they think that?
I'd be living at the Waldorf eating their breakfast.
Maybe they see that cool car of yours. You still got that lease car?
Yes, I do.
What is that? A Ford Impact or something?
I think it's a Fusion. Don't
That's
say
an even better
Impact
name.
when you're driving a car.
There was a Ford Impact. They actually had a
And
car.
not a good copy for a name on Impact.
No.
I guess if you put the two of them together, it would be a Confusion that Mac wants to drive.
Yes. Well, listen.
He's driving a Ford Confusion.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. So listen,
I've got one more year on the lease.
Oh, yeah, one more year. What you get, 3 years?
Yeah.
Well, you can re-up for another year. You know that, for the same price and stuff.
And do I get more mileage?
They'll hit you. Yeah, they'll give you another 12,000 or whatever you get, 10,000, and you just renew it for one more year, and then you got to turn the car in. Anyway, this is Mac's automotive segment. Yeah.
Car talk with Mac.
Why don't we do this?
It's more like a math class here.
Yes, it is. And luckily,
Lois
this
Lane, you getting all this
Yes,
down here?
she's writing down every word.
Grading the guy.
Every word.
So, Club is in here tonight. Club has took 2 weeks off from the show.
Is it because of us?
We miss him. Well, it turns out we have a top 10 list why Club took 2 weeks off, okay? Why Club took 2 weeks off. Raven.
It's always funny that when I return to the show after extended travel, Club has to have a vacation.
He's not there. Well, maybe that's one of the 10. We don't know. Raven, do you have the top 10 list?
I have the top 10 list.
Okay. All right. So this is top 10 reasons Club took 2 weeks off from the show. Okay. You got the bit there, 1-1? If 1-1 understands it, everyone will understand it. Everyone will laugh with him. Okay. So let's go. Raven, top 10 reasons Club
Okay.
took 2 weeks off.
Start the music.
Start the music.
Number 10. He was exhausted from making fun of Switchy's toupee every week. Went to the Bahamas to re-exchange.
Yes, he was just worn out.
Rechange. Recharge.
Recharge.
Already.
Exchange.
Already.
The exchange rate's very, very goofy there anyway. So I can understand where you were drifting.
He went to the Bahamas because he was just, tuck it out from talking about.
It's sort of like that decompose thing
Yes.
that Raven was driving at with his rechange, recharge.
Okay.
And I'm doing our security while he's gone.
Oh, well, maybe, who knows? No one, as it turns out.
Wow.
We're flying on the high trapeze without a net.
Without a
Wow.
net.
Enjoy the ride.
Number 9, please, Raven.
They're shooting the Whitey Bulger story in Southie, and he's playing the lead.
That's more
Highly
like it.
probable.
Who else?
Highly probable.
Number 8, please. Top 10 reasons Club took 2 weeks off from the show.
Number 8, doctor suggested time away from the show after reading so many up fan letters.
So many what kind of million letters?
Bad
Right?
word in there. There was bad word in there.
Let's do that again, okay?
Lois, mark the tape.
You can say it. You can say it. We're just going to bleep it out, okay?
I did.
All right, here we
I
go.
did. You didn't hear me?
Yeah, but
No, I did.
I did.
Everyone's
Okay.
laughing. Okay,
Say it
here we go.
loud and clear.
I'll just throw the question
say
again,
it.
right? Here we go. Number 8. Top 10 reasons why Club
No.
took 2 weeks off from the show. Go ahead.
Number 8, doctor suggested time away from the show after reading so many up fan letters.
Okay. And they wrote him a prescription. Okay, long way to go.
Librarian with potty mouth.
Yes. Okay.
The word's becoming so common that it's sort of boring now. It's like nobody cares.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, you feel bad if
Except the
it's not
FCC.
used in your general direction. I mean, if you talk with somebody and it's getting heated, they don't throw the F-bomb at you. You feel like, what, I'm not worthy.
Yes,
I
what's
don't
the matter
count
with
as
me?
a person anymore.
I don't
You
know.
You can't take out the simplest. It's the only word in the English language.
I don't even know why
Verb,
it's censored
noun,
on the
adjective,
radio, but-
Adverb, and it can all be used in the same sentence. And
Yeah.
it's strung together.
It's lost its impact, Cobra.
Right,
Can
the
we say that
FCC.
now too?
Okay.
Oh, hey, careful now. Let's not throw the puck
Hang on.
out to the fan
I'm
here,
just
buddy.
asking the question.
Let's be careful where we're going.
Uh-oh. All right. Why don't we move on
I'm
then?
surprised babies aren't using the F word. You know, it's
Okay.
like-
How do you know they're not?
I remember the first time my son used it because he overheard someone in the house use it, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world to say it because the reaction he got.
Yep.
How old was he?
Oh, he was like 3.5 going.
That's okay. That's
Oh,
okay.
hilarious.
That's all
Kid
right.
Swearing is the best.
Okay, please, let's move on. Top 10 reasons Club took 2 weeks off from the show.
Number 7, he's leading a secret mission to liberate Teddy, Coco's ballless horse.
You might see him before we do that, Coco, okay?
I don't think Teddy and his scrotum need to be featured every time I'm on the
What
show.
scrotum?
But, Teddy does love the attention.
That's the problem. There is no scrotum. That's what makes it funny.
Wow, that's
Sounds
gotta
like a
hurt.
cop show. Teddy and his sidekick.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Teddy and yes. So why don't we move on, please? Top 10 reasons Club took 2 weeks off from the show.
Number 6, he's spending time hanging around Raven's gymnasium.
Oh, that's
Whoa, that's more like it.
That's more like a one kind of thing. I don't think that Club exhibits that kind
Okay.
of craziness.
Hey, you
At least
never
not
know.
on the surface.
He's horning in on my territory.
Oh,
Careful with
see?
the horn word. there.
Wow. I'm telling you, man. Funny now, testimony later. Okay, let's move on.
Oh my
Please.
God.
Did you see
Number
it? All the files and tapes of the show are impounded for a sexual harassment.
I just want to
lawsuit.
say
Oh, that's
something that
classic.
at this point, Lois Lane has her head in her hands, literally head in her hands.
This is what happens
Tuning
when
it all out.
teaching
Okay.
doesn't take hold in those golden years, Lois.
Okay, let's go on, please. Right.
Number 5. Number 5. He needed time off to fulfill his overwhelming cameo demands.
He's on Cameo all over the place. Club
That
is.
is plausible, I think.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, everyone, they
He
want to
could be,
see if
first
he really
of all,
looks
the man
like
could be a
Mulder.
hand model. We all would agree. The man could be a hand model.
hand
There's no
model.
doubt about that. He's got that. He has that. And
Okay.
he has that distinguished look that he could be in so many ads.
He's very
I mean,
distinguished looking guy,
He's
yes.
very photogenic.
He could
very
be a
photogenic.
judge. He could be a judge. He could be a doctor.
A judge. He could be
He
a
could be
juror.
JB.
Yeah.
He could be the defendant. He could be the prosecutor.
He could be the most marginally interesting person in the world.
There you go.
That's right.
Oh, that seems like a little hair kind of thing going on there.
It sounds like a
Throw that
PBS
kind of
special.
line on a Switchy. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
Switchy
what
got a little out of control there.
deep-seated anger is there, but there's definitely a doctor that looks a lot like Club listening to you talk about him.
He'll never listen to this. Joe.
He listens. He listens to every show. He listens to every show, unlike a lot of people.
Uh-oh.
He listens
Hey,
to
Club.
every show. Hey, Club.
Just kidding.
Okay, top 10 reasons why Club took 2 weeks off from the show. Please, Raven.
Number 4, he's so giddy over the Red Sox he can't speak.
So giddy over the Red Sox.
That was a big deal out in Oklahoma City.
It's,
Quite a few Boston fans out
Oh,
there.
really?
Big deal. Big deal.
You know, people are
Yeah.
going to hear this in the future, but I'll tell you, something happened in Boston last night that wasn't supposed to happen. Is that the Red Sox
Exactly.
are now in like the real kind of playoffs? They beat the Tampa Bay Rays, which is I don't know. Maybe they're going to get caught cheating because they've been caught
this is
cheating
gonna be
before.
The trash can series.
that's really quite. Now I understand why you have a blackout Boston Red Sox hat to
Yes.
throw in after this major, comeback.
not me.
To throw the cheating thing in there.
Not
it's like
me.
it's not enough. You have
Not
the
me.
Patriots
They
that
don't
been
have
accused,
me. Believe me,
and
they
now
don't
you
have
want
me.
the Red Sox to be accused of cheating. What's going to happen next? The
I
Bruins
just
jacking up pucks to putting in helium in their pucks or something?
no.
What's going on?
You know what they used to do? I'm not saying the Bruins did this, but I know the Montreal Canadiens did this. Is that on the third period,
Hops.
the third period, when they would change the nets, they would actually put a smaller net in the Canadians, so the guy actually had a little less space to defend.
Right.
And they did that for years, and I guess they finally got caught. Anyway, this is Mack Maloney's Hockey Hour here. Okay, next, top 10 reasons why Club took 2 weeks off from the show.
Number 3, he's so giddy over the Patriots, he can't speak.
You see, he's so giddy. He's twice giddy. He can't believe the Patriots beat the mighty Houston Oilers the other day. Are they the Oilers anymore? What are they, the Houston Cowboys or something?
Houston Texans.
The Houston
right?
Texans. Wow. Well, they should throw them the hell out of Texas because they are a terrible team.
They're terrible.
Yet the Pats just barely
Pulled
beat
it out of their behinds to win that game.
A hush shoe is how someone described it to me. They pulled a hush shoe out of the rear part of it.
You know what I did during that game? I decided to get up and schedule a booster shot. I went to CVS, and that's when I heard the winning play was I was listening to the game on my app while I was chilling out for my 15 minutes after my booster shot.
Wow. Okay. Well, okay.
That's how riveting that game was.
Well, yeah. Why watch it on a big screen like the rest of us?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Top 10 reasons.
You want to waste pixels on that game.
Why Club took 2 weeks off from the show. Please, where are we, Raven? Hopefully towards the end.
Number 2.
Number 2.
He hooked up with Vic the Wop, and they are now heading to Mongolia in search of uranium-235.
There you go, right? You know, those two. They're like Batman and Robin or something. Or Indiana Jones and who knows so, okay?
They're like peanut butter and bread.
I was down at number 2, man. I'm running out of gas by number 2. Please, so number 1, please, Raven.
Number 1, Club took 2 weeks off from the show. He's doing security for the Stones.
Of course. Where else would he be?
Yeah.
Yes.
Security guard for the Stones.
Oh boy, we're gonna sweeten that up.
I hope he grabs me some.
I can see him in the room with Mick and the gang, and just telling them, look,
calm down.
You guys need to calm down.
Yep.
But I used to run with Mack Maloney's Military X-Files and that posse that he had, and you boys are pretty tame in comparison.
Nothing surprises me.
You didn't really bring it up a notch to match my race. I think that would be the way to go.
I could see clubs, spreading their way from them as they're making their way to the stage. The guy always has the flashlight, making sure they don't.
With the flashlights, yeah.
That's Club. Get out of the way, pushing people out of the way with it, like the Red Sea being.
Except Club's flashlight would be one of those mag lights that's like 3 feet long, made of aircraft aluminum, hitting people because he's originally from the Boston area.
Mick is coming. Get out of the way. So anyway, well, Club. Okay, he'll be glad to hear that. And let's see if he does, in fact, come back next week.
Well, I just want to say that I miss Club not being there.
Yes, we all do. We all do.
That's why I said it first, because we all do. Okay. I got it.
Wow.
Yeah, but my hair is getting a break.
That's true. That is the silver lining there. Switch.
I'll be
a lot of silver lining up there too.
Can I just say one thing, though? Not to really hop on this squirrel you have in your head, but it looks like every time you're on, you've just had a haircut. That's what makes us suspicious.
No, it's been at least 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Really? Okay, but you weren't on the last 2 weeks.
Well,
it's the shifting of the eyes that's not helping this at all.
Yep.
It's a very devious kind of look. I've grown used to it with one. In fact, I almost think it's a heartbeat pulse check with one. If his eyes aren't switching around and his little soul patch isn't twitching at least 3 or 4 times during the show, then I know something's up. But when you start doing that, it's a little bit of a tell.
Wow, one.
It's kind of paranormal.
All right, paranormal. Good. Ties in with the show. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now? And we'll be right back after this with more fun. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. The whole gang is here, except Club. And we'll be right back after this.
Hey fans, Lois Lane here, and I think it's time for you to get some free swag from Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show. We have badges, pins, bar coasters, and some very cool 3D show logos that we just can't wait to give away. Just go to MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we'll ship the free swag out to you quicker than Switch can eat breakfast. That's MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button to get your free swag today. Requests for tasteful news of Wanwan will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52, or 53, or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range, or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military Lifestyle Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Wow, what a show we have for you tonight. Let me quickly introduce the members of the posse. Girls, one is here.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Hello, guys, too.
Yeah, okay. Girls.
Everybody.
Commander Cobra is here. Commander Cobra is here as well.
Thank you, Mac. As always, a pleasure to be on the wing.
Switchblade Steve Ward, our national correspondent, is with us. Switchy.
Great to be here.
Okay. Our favorite good witch, Raven, is with us from upstate New York.
Hello, my friends.
Any snow yet?
Not yet. Okay. It is sweater weather, though.
Okay. Oh, that's a good sign. And also in the studio with us, making a rare appearance, is Lois Lane.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here.
And our guest tonight. Are we ready for a guest, crew?
We are.
Yes.
Okay.
We're overdue for a guest.
You think so? Sylvia McKelvey is joining us. She has written a book called Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. And as soon as I saw the title, I said, wow, we got to get you on the show, Sylvia. So how are you today?
I'm great, Mac. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, where are you? Out in California?
I am in California, Northern California.
Northern California, okay. All right. And you look like you're in California for some reason. I don't know why. You're happy, you're healthy looking.
It's sunny.
It's sunny, yeah.
She has a glow. There's
a glow is the word I'm going.
Got the West Coast glow.
The West Coast glow, right.
That's because half the time we don't know what's going on anyway.
Yes. Where's the sound effects? Yes.
You still got the same governor, right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay, all right.
That's pretty cool.
No politics. No politics. Anyway, so, your book, the title is intriguing. When did you start research on it? How long did it take you to write it, et cetera?
Oh, well, it took me about 4 years to do the entire research on it and about a year just putting it together. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting with the title. I know it looks like easy reading, but all of these items, actually, when you get into the book, you'll find out that they actually work together. So there is a reason for it.
Yes.
And I base a lot of that on the research that I have done as a UFO investigator, my own personal sighting, and then also the interviews I've had with people from basically all walks of life, but primarily from those who have had similar experiences and definitely sightings of UFOs.
Right. We do talk, semi-frequently on the show about like a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and, for want of a better word, religion. We talk a lot about Marian Apparitions, for instance. What are they really, And so we're always kind of interested in this. So how do you bring in? I understand the New Age. I understand UFOs. I think, but how does the Cosmic Christ come into this?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because in doing this research and starting out with the book, I try to give a brief history going back to ancient times to modern times, and also going over some of the first reports that we've had in this country, such as Kenneth Arnold. And it was interesting to me, the more I researched, the more I found out that there was a definite connection often with paranormal occurrences. And a lot of these people who have had these sightings have also had paranormal experiences. And that I tried to bring out in their own words so that I'm not placing any bias on it, but I'm letting them tell what they've experienced. So I think there is something there on a spiritual basis or paranormal basis, but it does seem to coincide with a lot of what's happening to these people.
Do you think it's like just two parts of the same thing?
It's hard to really classify it as any part of anything because everybody's experience is different. I can't say that they're necessarily going out seeking, have some formula where they can call up UFOs, but it seems from the experiences that many people have relayed that oftentimes the paranormal experiences will start after a sighting of a UFO. So did one cause the other? That's hard to determine.
Right, sure. Yeah, no, we hear that a lot. We've had a number of people on who say the exact same thing. All of a sudden you have this sighting. It's a big event in your life, and you change a little bit, and some people get spiritual. Some people, delve right into UFOs. Let me ask this, though. Of all the people you talk to, what is the strangest thing that you've heard?
Oh, the strangest thing. That's hard to narrow it down. The strangest thing I have heard, and this is kind of silly, but I thought it was rather unusual when I heard it the first time, is that this one person who was claiming a sighting, also claiming visitation from this space person, but this particular entity was appearing in her window. Now, this is their words, wearing a derby. Okay.
Okay, hang on now.
And I thought that was okay, fine,
they're very fashionable.
Whatever. I didn't think anything of it until I was listening to another talk show about a year later, and a woman called in talking to this host and said, I'm it's not the same person, by the way.
Okay.
I'm really confused of what happened to my daughter. She's in the second floor of her bedroom, and she swears there was this thing looking in at her wearing a derby.
Wow,
so if you want strange, that was strange.
Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah. Why a derby? How strange is that,
Yeah, we need to check on 1-1's
whereabouts.
Planner, just in case where he was at.
I think my house painter wears a derby.
That's why he's looking in the window. Yeah,
he's up on the ladder. Yeah, and I haven't seen him for a few days.
Makes sense.
Well, that's interesting.
So anyway,
Sylvia, it's not just confined to the West Coast. There are some very strange happenings and persons out on the East Coast.
We don't know what the other half is going on either.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. Yes.
So, Matt, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Sylvia, have you found any? I know researchers like Jacques Vallée found a lot of parallels between the various traditions and folklore and some modern day UFO experiences. Do you see any of those parallels in some of the research you have done?
Well, if you take a case like the Hopkinsville, Kentucky case, they weren't describing Greys or they weren't describing Nordics. They were describing these little creatures with big ears and long fingernails and something that we would classify as other than a flying saucer occupant. But to them, they report seeing this craft come down and these little creatures get out of it. So I don't know how that fits in with folklore. It may have something to do with what people were reporting in older times. But it certainly is something that you hear occasionally, but not as much as you would have people describing, the well-dressed Nordics or the Greys or even the reptilians.
Right.
So there's a slot for them, but I'm not sure where to put it.
Is it simply that there are a number of different aliens that show up on our planet?
Apparently there is, not that I can confirm that, but from just doing research on it, there's some people that claim there's 30, 40 different species and possibly more, but you don't hear about them as often as you do with the people who are claiming the visitation from the Greys, for instance. It's just something that I don't know if they take the center stage all the time or what, but that is the most reported.
Do you think there's any connection to what we know as ghosts?
The ghost, I would not necessarily put in that category, although there is some suggestion that they do have this spiritual aspect to them when you talk about shape-shifting or being, in their words, even able to appear as anything they want.
Right, sure.
So how that coincides, I don't know.
Right. Hey, we're talking to Sylvia McKelvey, who has written a book called Storm on the Horizon. It's a very cool title. It's almost a title a friend of mine who's an author would use, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. So, a lot of people will ask, and books have been written about this, is there any chance that Christ was, just a visitor from somewhere else?
Yeah, that does get asked on occasion. And coming from a Christian background, I would have to say that I don't believe it in those terms, but you have to believe that it was a different situation where he came from to this planet. And I try to point that out in one of my chapters, just putting the focus on who he said he was.
Right.
And the fact that he repeated several times that he was not from here and that his kingdom was not of this world. So where does that put him? Obviously in a realm that we are very not informed about. So how we can interpret that, I'm not sure, other than a divine being and a realm that we know nothing about, really.
Right. I mean, does it seem, we talk about this on the show a lot too, is that maybe somehow, a different kind of reality is rubbing up against our reality, if I can use that term. And sometimes there's overlays. Sometimes, who knows what, because people will see odd stuff and then suddenly it's gone. People see stuff that's out of time, and then boom, it's gone. People see ghosts. People see apparitions. People see strange stuff all the time. There's no explanation for any of it, from sea monsters to UFOs to ghosts, and I'd like to think it's all part of the same thing,
Yeah, well, let's throw Bigfoot in there too.
Bigfoot,
so
he's a
have
friend
that
of mine.
covered. But yeah, I do agree that there's a lot of people who have claimed to have seen portals open or the sky open.
Yes.
Some of them have even equated Bigfoot with being a possibility of an inter-realm type of thing.
Yes.
And oddly enough, the Bigfoots have been associated with UFOs.
Yes, right.
So,
yeah. We talk about that. Coco has his hand up, please. Cece.
Sylvia, what got you started on this journey, and then I'll follow up with a second.
Oh, I would have to say I was kind of dragged into it, but mine started like so many others of having a sighting of an object when I was around 18. Didn't think much of it. It was a strobing light, and it didn't last long. But the odd thing about that is that we saw it near, my girlfriend and I saw it near an airport.
Yes.
And this was a small airport at the time with a National Guard at the end of the runway type of thing.
Yep.
So we saw it at the airport, and we were there in time to see two jets take off after it. And it shot off into the distance with these two jets in pursuit. Of course, being curious, we called the tower and asked them, did you have any jets take off? And the answer we got, no, nothing took off.
Yes.
So that was my first exposure to plausible denial.
Yeah.
So moving forward, just several years later, as an adult, my husband and I were driving through the Central Valley and happened to see these orbs coming down from the sky. It was a beautifully clear day, visibility about 10 miles in all directions. And we pulled over the side of the road and just watched them come down, rotate, flow back and forth. And one was shooting around as if it was directing traffic. I don't know what that one was doing.
Wow.
But I did watch it kind of do a transformation where it just kind of puffed a couple of times and this plasma material came out of it, and whatever that was started coming directly towards us until it hovered over our car. And that's what got me thinking, my goodness, what are these things?
That would get me thinking.
They're not behaving like a normal spacecraft where somebody says they've had a sighting.
Right.
Because this, to me, seems something very different, biomechanical, whatever this was. But even at that time, making a MUFON report, I could not classify those sightings, those objects, those orbs, as anything that I could determine to be an actual craft.
Sure.
So we're not sure what this is.
Do you think, is there any chance in your mind they were like man-made, that they were ours?
No, I don't think they were ours. Definitely don't think that. If you saw the speed of them, especially the one that I observed, there's just no way that we have anything that could match that.
Right.
And the interesting thing about that is that this was over in Central Valley, and Lemoore Naval Air Station was not too far from that location.
Yep.
And they were definitely flying under radar, or certainly to the point that they would have been picked up. But nothing was scrambled. Nothing showed up. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's we hear similar stories like all the time. This is what's been going on for years and years and years. I mean, they'll either deny it. I mean, we're pretty close to Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire. We're on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And Pease, for a long time, was
we were talking about it on the way up here, is like the 5th largest nuclear base in the United States or something. It was it was very big base in the Cold War, let's say. And people have written entire books about how many UFO incidents happened close to it. The incident at Exeter, very famous, is just right up the street from where we are and where the air base is. And, it's one of these things that it's like, well, who came first? In fact, here's what's even odder about it is that the bomber group that was stationed at Pease was the bomber group in Roswell. They were the first, I think it was the 509th or something, the first bomber group to drop the nuclear bomb. They moved to Pease, and so that they had that in their history too. And so when you say, I understand what you mean. Some stuff you can tell is ours. It might be like really way out, but if you see something that is not moving aerodynamically, possible, it's not us. It's not the Chinese. It's not one. It's not anyone on Earth. Coco, was it the 509?
509 is the one that's worked through a number of years. They were the first under Tibbets, and that is correct. When they were at Pease, they flew the FD-111.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Bomber. They were Holloman out to the Pacific for the end of World War II, and then for a couple of different iterations, that's when they end up at Pease. Mm-hmm. If I can throw one more quick comment or question in there, what's next? Your book is in my read file, and I have to compliment you on your selection of cover art for it. It reminds me of another author that I really enjoy the cover art that he puts on his books.
Go on.
Greatly, very tastefully done. Nice stuff. I like the
he might not be involved,
type of effect that you have there on it.
Thank you.
What's next for your work? What do you think is going to come up? You can just work the lecture circuit, so to speak, or you have another project?
Well, I've actually been thinking about another project, carrying this forward with the recent developments we had, but that's still in the hopper, and we'll see if that even transpires.
Right. I can understand. So let me ask you a question, and then I'll ask if anyone else has a question. Writing a book is a drag, isn't it? Isn't it a pain in the neck? Isn't it awful?
It is.
Yes. Okay. Finally. Yeah. Because why? I can tell you a million reasons why, but why? Why?
Well, if you want to write a good book, you need to have your research. You need to be accurate and present it in a way that people can understand it.
Yes.
And that doesn't come natural for most of us. So it does take a lot of discipline, a lot of research, and a lot of time. So it is a work that is a work of someone's personal being, I would think. You have to be that type to be able to do it.
Yes, I agree with you. It's a lot of editing, re-editing, editing, and editing, and that's what I have been told, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Wow. Huh. And so let me just ask you a few more questions, if you don't mind. Thanks for joining us. We're raising hands. Okay, please, one, save us. Go.
Well, the title of the book is Storm on the Horizon. Is Christ has promised that when he returns, there'll be a new heaven and new earth, and the dead in Christ will be raised up, and 144,000 are going to be like running the show, and the rest of us is going to be enjoying this new earth, such as it will be. Is that are UFOs a precursor
like
to
fun.
that? How are they related to Christ, if at all? And are they just kind of examining the terrain to see if this is all going to work out?
Yeah, it goes back to not knowing exactly what they are, since we know they've been around since ancient times. But I kind of throw a monkey wrench at people in this, is that I want them to consider what the options could be on something like that. Could this be, like you say, the real thing, or could this be a deception? So if you look at what's happening now within these different groups, they're all talking about something's going to happen. And I think right now, if you look at our current state of affairs in our world, I think we're primed for something that would try to curtail these events that are happening and maybe redirect us to a different type of existence. So my thoughts on that, with people are talking about New Age, they're talking about a global world, a new world order. My thoughts on that, and I present that to people to think about, what would make the superpowers lay down their arms and say, okay, fine, we're all one big family.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's going to police that?
Yes.
So if you happen to have somebody who is, let's say, extraterrestrial, who comes on the scene, and there's nothing we can do to thwart their powers, where it be taking weapons offline or taking down a grid,
right.
It would be very hard to put up any kind of defense in that regard.
Let me ask you this, though, okay? And this just popped into my head because I was thinking of what's the famous movie there, Switchy?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
The Day the Earth Stood Still, okay? And there's a friend of mine wrote his dissertation on science fiction movies and religion, and there's a lot of religious overtones to that movie, especially the one that they made in the 50s, of course, right? How do you think? I mean, let's say that happened. Okay, let's say something like that happened. How would the world's population handle that? Because what we hear all the time is, well, the governments are holding back all this information about what UFOs are because they don't want to freak out the population. But would the population really freak out if we knew what UFOs were? I mean, would it be mass hysteria or whatever?
I used to think that we could handle the truth, but, just going through what we have with COVID and people hoarding toilet paper, you kind of have to wonder about that.
Hoarding?
But,
what are we going to hoard if the aliens show up?
Right. People are already stockpiling, so who knows? So, But it is an interesting thing. And if you get into the book, you'll find out what my take on that could possibly be. And especially if you align it up with prophecy, there are some things that are very interesting about the times we're in right now.
Right.
So I think that we're going to have to look. I think if we do acknowledge some kind of existence, like we have these films that are come out now, the Tic Tac and everything that people are talking about in that regard.
Yes.
So if they come out now with some type of announcement, it's almost as if they've been priming the public for it.
Well, yeah, they are acting differently than they haven't acted this way ever, and now all of a sudden they're acting differently in the past 2 or 3 years. I'm a real skeptic about a lot of this stuff, okay? But I got to tell you this, I kind of know the military and I know kind of how they work. Okay, and for the Navy to come out and bless those UFO videos, even though they had some age on, for them to come out and do that, it's a big, big deal, whether we know it or not. So are they setting us up? That's the way you do it. Let's face it. That's how you would do it. You'd butter the bread a little bit, So, hey, Sylvia, can I ask you a question?
Sure. Can
you hang with us for another segment? We're going to do an ad. You want to hang around?
Sure, I can hang around.
Okay. You got a glass of wine nearby or anything like that?
Not yet, but I can always find one.
Well, we got 5 minutes. Okay.
Well, it's California. I mean, we expect you to have the Napa Valley,
It's right in your yard. Yeah, right in the backyard.
Yeah, it's in your backyard, right?
All our wine comes from somewhere else.
See, that's another thing that makes me mad.
Nebraska.
No. Anyway, wine in Nebraska? Really?
Right. Okay. I'm just throwing that out.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now? And we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. The whole gang is here, and we're also talking to Sylvia McKelvey. Her book is called Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. Okay, this has turned into a very interesting segment, and we'll be right back after this.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top-secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52, or 53, or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range, or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top-secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Hey fans, Lois Lane here, and I think it's time for you to get some free swag from Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show. We have badges, pins, bar coasters, and some very cool 3D show logos that we just can't wait to give away. Just go to MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we'll ship the free swag out to you quicker than Switch can eat breakfast. That's MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button to get your free swag today. Requests for tasteful news of Wanwan will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. We are talking to, let me introduce the posse real quick so I don't get complaints from their agents, etc. Juan is here, girls. Juan is here. JJ, okay?
Hello, Mac. Hello, everybody.
Cece is here. Cobra is here.
Always enjoy being on the wing.
On the chicken wing.
And for joining the show.
Steve Ward, our national correspondent, is with us.
Great to be here.
Okay. Raven, our favorite good witch, is with us. Raven.
Hello, my friends.
One by night.
Hello, Raven.
And she's got those
one by night
librarian glasses on. And also with us in the studio making a rare appearance is Lois Lane is with us.
Hi, everybody. This is an exciting guest we have, so I'm happy to be part of it.
Definitely.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Lois.
Okay, I agree. Okay, we're talking to Sylvia McKelvey, who has written a book called Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. And we've gotten into a lot of different angles of this idea. So when we were talking off here, why don't we just start right there? You mentioned you're a veteran, right? Correct?
That's right. I am.
What happened? Just tell us about your experience. You were in the reserve and you got called up for Desert Storm?
Yes, I was in the Naval Reserve as a hospital corpsman and got called up during Operation Desert Storm. And my particular unit was sent to reinforce a medical clinic at a naval air base in Northern California. So I was accustomed to seeing a lot of pilots, seeing a lot of aircraft, jets of all types of vintage. I was at Moffett Field, which was the home port for the P-3 Orion aircrafts, affectionately called sub-killers.
Yep.
And they
don't take offense to Switch.
Anti-sub airplane. Yep.
Switch is a bubblehead, so he gets a little nervous when he started talking.
I didn't take it personally.
Wow.
But it depends on which submarines we're looking for.
Yes,
that's true. We were the good guys.
He never got caught. So, okay, continue. So go ahead.
So my experience with that really allowed me to see a lot of aircraft. And interestingly enough, this particular base butts up to NASA Ames Research Center.
Okay.
So not only were we privy to our jets, we also saw a lot of what Lockheed Martin had and a lot of what NASA had on their aircraft.
Nice.
So, I was well educated in that regard.
Yes.
So when I had my sighting, I could tell right away, I'm not looking at an aircraft.
Right.
And I can tell by the speed is something we do not have.
Right.
At least not admitting to. Another thing going back to that, I will mention also that there was a second part of that sighting, which I was really kind of astounded by. We had been going through a mountain pass and happened to see these orbs once again. But there were now two of them separate, and they were actually following a commercial aircraft that was on approach for landing. And I saw one beneath the tail section and one just directly behind it. And they were kind of bobbing up and down. And I thought, it looked like almost they were surfing the jet stream.
Interesting,
and it was nothing that seemed to be menacing anything on that plane, but they were there. And, that's been reported many times over also about seeing these things following aircraft.
Right.
So I can attest to that that has happened.
Right. Yeah, sure. So you were a corpsman. So what you mean you were treating the wounded and stuff like that?
On the base, mostly the pilots.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Oh, easy, Easy
were they hung over by any chance?
You're making it sound like we're in there all the time, like we're some kind of clinic commandos or something.
Well, those flight exams we have to have with the brown shoes. So,
Okay. Wow. Okay.
She had to throw the whole brown shoe.
What does that mean?
I thought maybe we were going to,
can we translate?
Raise the level of the conversation, but I see we're going right down to anchors, chains and chalk here, right here. Right. Look at the switch. Look at the face of the switch.
I know.
Have you seen a more genuine?
I've never seen them laugh this hard. What is a brown shoe? Please tell us what a brown shoe is, please, for us that don't know.
Well, that's a naval aviator. That's how you tell them apart. Most of the officers and enlisted have black shoes.
Yes.
So if you see brown shoes, it's a naval aviator.
Is that just a fashion statement, or is there something in their history, or what?
It's something in their history, but I think it's kind of a fashion statement also.
Really? Yeah, okay.
Spoken like a true black Jew.
No, listen. Coco was an aviator for the Coast Guard. Okay, correct, right? So what that
is correct.
What color shoes did you wear? What did you wear?
I was a naval aviator with the Coast Guard. Exchanged with the Navy a number of years.
Yes.
On different assignments, and an Air Force aviator as well.
What kind of shoes did you wear?
I wore black shoes because in the Coast Guard we don't have brown shoe. But the brown shoe thing is a way to differentiate your status as an aviator from the surface or surface Navy.
Okay.
And it's it's much like the leather jacket was a right of the aviation service.
Yes.
And then of course that's, now spread to all the other different parts and pieces of the military.
All right, we're doing a fashion segment now. Listen, Raven, I'm going to pretend you had your hand up. Did you ever think of going in the service? I could see you as like a sergeant or something.
Yeah, I did. I had this wicked cool G.I. Joe when I was a kid.
Cool.
And I believe he was in the Air Force, and he had this like crazy scar over his eye.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I told my parents I was joining the military, and they weren't going to stop me. And then, that all fell apart pretty quick. Once I hit high school, things got real different.
Yeah, complicated things. Okay. Listen, the G.I. Joe, did he have brown shoes on?
That I don't remember. But he had like a very dark khaki like one-piece jumper on.
Oh, wow.
It was
sometimes referred to as a flight suit.
Real good.
She's giving the okay sign, fans. Okay, yeah, okay, wow.
Yeah, so I'll ask the question, and one is just ready to leap out of the block. How many times did you undress your G.I. Joe out of that really cool flight suit?
I never did. No, I am a lady.
Here.
I don't do that.
Yes, Coco.
One. Shame on you for even asking that question.
He takes that. All right, listen, we have a guest.
I resemble that remark.
Okay, all right. Oh, you're doing the Stooges halfway through the show.
But Coco is absolutely right, of course, about the dress code of the airmen. I was stationed in Little Creek, Virginia, in an anti-submarine warfare unit, and there was just a few miles away from the Naval Air Station in Norfolk, where we tended to hang out and get trained and just hobnob with our brethren on the other side. That we always thought, boy, they're way cooler than we are.
And they were right.
We wear greens and boots, and we blouse our pants, and we look like a MASH unit that has no discipline whatsoever.
Can we go back?
And these guys at the Naval Air Station are squared away like you read about.
Oh, see, it was jealousy.
Kind of like how Coco is.
Yeah, right, of course. All right, listen, we have a guest tonight, Sylvia McKelvey, who has written a book called Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and a Cosmic Christ. Sylvia, did you ever expect this?
I've learned to expect just about anything.
There you go. Actually. Wow, what an answer. Okay, thank you.
Good answer.
Wow. So not to get off track, but a pet peeve of mine is that the veterans in this country are so mistreated. It's criminal in my estimation. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that we've seen some really bad things over the last few years. I think in some areas it is getting better for the veterans, but I think we still have a long ways to go. I think they're a forgotten group for the most part, and I'm hoping that will change. And I think that it's starting to take those steps to where we're now getting some decent care for our vets, and hopefully that will continue and take care of the families and everything we should be doing.
We should be doing. Hey, we talk about this on the show a lot, but we have one ad that we do on the show called Homes for Our Troops. It's a good time to plug them. Homes for Our Troops, what they do is they build homes for people from the Iraq War, Afghan War, who lost limbs, right? And it's easier for them to move around, low counter space and wide stairs, the works. And then they just give them the house, okay? No mortgage, nothing. And it's great. I mean, you're in a way you're thanking them for what they did, and their life is never going to be the same. But in my opinion, we might have to cut this out. I don't know. I'll put music behind it. In my opinion, we shouldn't have to do that. The Veterans Administration should be doing things like that. Why do we have charities doing it? That's what's wrong anyway.
No, you're right.
Oh, all right, Lois. Thank you, Lois. I appreciate it.
Well, that'll keep her from getting cut out.
I was going to say that it'll be a good ride home. Yes. Okay. All right, Lois.
Well said from Sylvia and from Mack. Okay. Kudos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you depended on the Veterans Administration, who have been underfunded for a bazillion years.
Not underfunded, there, my friend. Not underfunded. They don't spend their money wisely, I think would be the way.
Maybe that's true, too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
Go look at some of the buildings. It's sickening. We don't even want to go there.
You know how much of a red hot issue this is for both of us. Simply said, we need to demand more out of what we do in that area.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's forgotten is the right word for it. It's forgotten, And in my opinion, I never served, but a lot of people in my family served. And Lois's father was the youngest guy on Okinawa. He landed on Okinawa on Easter Sunday at 15 years old. Okay.
What?
Yes.
15?
15. Well, and
oh my gosh.
And when he went then he was in Okinawa, and then the war ended. He did 6 months duty in Japan as they were kind of like cops or whatever. Went back,
occupation force.
Went back to Brooklyn, and they made him do the senior year in high school. So he went back to high school. Okay. And then Lois will confirm this. And they wouldn't let him play on the baseball team because they said he was too much of a man. He just gone through World War II. Okay. And he says that's the only thing that bummed him out was I couldn't play baseball. Anyway.
But why did he even have to graduate at that point? Like,
they made him
give him
back.
a diploma.
They made him come, and then he turned out to be an English high school teacher, as it turns out. Switchy. Yeah, Switch has his hand.
Yeah, the question for Sylvia. Are there any researchers from the past, either ones that are no longer with us or still active, that have had some influence on your research or gave you some direction with what you've been doing?
Well, I have to contribute to the list here of people, Mack Maloney on his excellent book on UFOs in wartime.
What?
But yeah, there's been several, I have to say, that have influenced. David Jacobs is one, I think, if you look on the abduction side of it. And several of their early authors on, including Jacques Vallée, of course. But there are probably too many to mention, actually. Right. And if you saw my library of books over here, you'd probably understand why I'm stuttering around trying to find the ones I want to talk about. But there has been very many, and we are certainly appreciative of a lot of the research that was done early on.
Yeah, we stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before us because some of them have made major breakthroughs and really opened up just the idea that some of these experiences seem to have a high strangeness factor connected to them. Mm-hmm. And there's some paranormal elements. That was a notion that they wouldn't deal with back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, right. Absolutely. Barely dealing with it now.
Oh, right. There are many people that are very compartmentalized. But when you mentioned the Bigfoot UFO connection, Stan Gordon, a great researcher in Pennsylvania, investigated the bizarre series of experiences and sightings in southwestern Pennsylvania in 1973 and 1974. And those just go off the chart for being weird.
Yeah, it's interesting that we have like this gauntlet of experiences and people that have written about them. That's why I'm saying you really can't classify it and put it in one box because it has so many other things that enter into it.
Right, sure.
So how do you accurately define it? It's difficult.
And the thing is, whatever UFOs are, whatever cryptids are, they act independently of our belief systems.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We are talking to Sylvia McKelvey, the author of Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. You can just go on Amazon, order it. I think you get it the next day. So let me just throw this question out to you, because we've talked about this on previous shows. In fact, Raven did a special report about a month ago, and it's on Marian Apparitions, okay? And the way that we kind of looked at it was this. People, there are famous Marian apparitions, Fatima,
Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Wild Lady of Guadalupe, there's one in
Alexandria, Virginia. In Egypt.
Yes, right. That's where they actually filmed, this vision on film. It's really kind of crazy to see. There's a place in the former Yugoslavia. I forget the name of it, but where they had the same type of thing. And in these things that people see happening, people have filmed them and so on. What people are seeing are the cast of characters from the Catholic Church, right? So doesn't that kind of give cred to the Catholic Church that they're on the right path here if their superheroes are appearing to us?
Well, I don't know really how to answer that because you take into consideration other types of sightings people have had of paranormal entities, whether they be angelic in nature or maybe a ghost type image. How do you classify those in a religious setting versus a non-religious setting?
Mm-hmm.
Their experience that people are having that is not necessarily given to just one group.
Yes.
So I would have to say that's not necessarily classification that they've got the inside on it. But
thank you, Sylvia, because I often have to throw into Mac when he brings us. We were both raised Roman Catholic as 1-1, and that I don't see this as a game of who's got the right scorebook. on this. Mary is identified as her mother, Saint Anne, in the Islamic faith. She's understood in Judaism as well. Mm-hmm. So I just don't quite grab the we need to score points. Who's got the right playbook on this? In fact, I find most man-made religion rather notional and silly, to be quite frank.
Were you an altar boy? Were you an altar boy there, CC?
I was, yeah, okay. And including Latin Mass. So that makes me like 2 steps removed from the current Roman Catholic understanding on how we're supposed to be doing that.
If you were an altar boy,
you're like a super altar boy.
Yes, now he is. All right. If you were an altar boy, what's God's phone number?
Ooh.
Come on.
It has to start with 666.
No. Equum Spirit 220. Come on.
I have a question for Sylvia.
I'm anxious to read the book to
is this on?
See that connection, Sylvia, between your reference of the cosmic Christ, I'm still trying to get this straight, to UFO appearances.
And Sylvia, I have to jump in that if he does read this book, as he's promised on air,
listen,
it will be a God divine event that he's actually read the book cover to cover on any of the events that's gone on. So you could be the miracle worker here in the 1-1 back.
Well, listen to what you're up against, though, okay?
Yeah,
Mrs.
1-1 is very interested in it, too, so that may prompt us to pull the trigger right away on Amazon.
Why do you have to drag her into this? Listen, he wrote the foreword to a book by a friend of mine, and he never read the foreword. Never mind reading the book.
I read the foreword. No, come on.
Okay, I let her answer the question, please. What was the question?
It was Cosmic Christ.
Any one of the questions that was in that pile of stuff that was just thrown up in the air there.
Right. The reference to the cosmic Christ is kind of interesting. It's not something I've come up with. I'm just reporting what other people are saying they're looking forward to. And they have started out different groups. If you want to call them New Agers, you can. But there's been a set group that has been at this for many years now where they're saying that, we're going into this new age and we're going to have a new world teacher. It's going to be this cosmic Christ. And the interesting thing about that connection is that they see this entity or whatever this person is as someone who is also connected with UFOs. So supposedly this guy has air support. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out down the road here, but that's, again, another aspect to what I think people are seeing and thinking something's going to happen. So we'll throw that one in there too.
All right.
And I like the fact that you're looking at a very broad spectrum of phenomena and looking for patterns and parallels in the way it kind of connects. Right. It's perfectly all right, I think, to focus on specific areas. But I think occasionally if we step back like you are, and that's kind of what I do with the little bit of research I do, is I can't help but look at things. I mean, things will jump out at you if you look at the broad spectrum. If we listen to the reports, what people are telling us. I mean, obviously, we try and see if they are credible or not. But a lot of researchers go in with a very preconceived idea and will actually say things like, I don't want to hear about the Bigfoot you saw. I want to hear about that UFO you saw that's from outer space. And I've talked to other researchers that it was the opposite, where they were hearing about they wanted to hear about the Bigfoot. I don't care about that strange light you saw in the sky at the same time. I want to know about this unknown hominid. So, yes, I appreciate that style of research where you're looking at everything and putting it together.
With the exception of Raven, we're all of the age that will probably remember the literary allusion I will throw here. There was a very popular thing in the 80s that went forward to say, if you just relax your eyes looking at this picture, you'll see something, a spaceship, a shark, a bird. You remember those
Sure.
Graphics that were out there, and you had to really just kind of like relax your focus to see whatever it was that was hidden in that pattern of the display. If you focused at it too intently, you could not see it. You had to relax, and when your depth of field of your vision opened up, you could see this 3-dimensional object that they had on it. Raven, you can look this up online later. It was a very interesting
long time ago.
Coco, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not a fetus.
Oh,
I know what you're
wow,
talking
wow.
about.
Come on, listen.
Well, you're very well
versed. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
That is what I think.
Can I break in?
What misses a lot of times when we talk about paranormal investigation, extraterrestrial investigation, which was putting online there. You look at one aspect, and you're not willing to even note the other things that are around. I understand if you're interested in one particular area, but to dismiss stuff is the problem with journalism, scientific inquiry. We focus on it and we literally throw out other things that don't fit because we have a preconceived way we want to go, and that hurts.
Can I ask you a question?
Convincing people what's going on.
Because you're right about that narrative that people are trying to put their little cookie cutters in.
Right.
And they're only trying to see it one way, but we definitely need, more people that are.
Thank you, Raven, not to see this.
Right. Now, listen. Now that we're on the subject.
One more question.
Oh, go ahead. Please raise your hand. Go ahead.
Sylvia, have you gotten any flack or negative feedback on the premise of the book? That
well, the Amazon reviews, most have been very positive. Of course, there's one that didn't obviously understand it. So that's okay. That's really okay because
that's healthy.
It tells me people are thinking at least or looking at this or attempting to look at it.
They're wrong, but it's healthy.
Right. But, it's true. You'll never learn anything if you go in with preconceived notions about things. And I just have learned over the years not to discount anything.
Right.
I may not understand it. There may not be a premise for it, like the Derby, but I'll slot it somewhere. Maybe it'll connect somewhere later on. But I think you have to be fair and let people talk and listen to them. And a good investigator will do that. You don't want to lead somebody by making suggestions about what they should say or try to interpret it for them. But you just need to listen and let them talk and explain it as they would.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, as a formal aviator, I really appreciate that from your medical background, having that kind of open mind and ready to hear what the patient or the pilot in this case has to say, the aviator has to say, and try to treat them. So I appreciate that approach a lot.
Right. It works in medical very well.
Hey, listen, so Sylvia, let me ask you this. So you said that when you had your sighting, right, you were 18 years old, right?
First time. But, I told you I was kind of dragged into this because I don't know that there's some of us that are just tapped on the shoulder for having weird experiences all their lives. But I certainly have had my own. And that's why I'm really not judgmental about other people that say they've had something happen or they've seen something. Mm-hmm. It isn't a difficult place to be in because most of the time you cannot speak about these things. Right. And if you do, people tend to kind of start moving to the other side of the room. So, you just have to tough it out and be brave. And
you need to hang out at our party.
I was going to say, you got to go to the right kind of parties.
You wouldn't have to move to any side of the room. You'd be pushed to the center of the room.
Right.
Wow, huh?
But, it's true. You have to kind of hold your own on that. But, it comes down to, what I say, and even in my book, I talk about, if I didn't say something about this, how could I answer for this if I had this information?
Yes.
So I'm saying something about it.
Yes, sure. Hey, so listen, so you're a married woman, right? Where you saw a male walking around in the background.
Yeah, that was him.
That was him. It was not the guy on the JJ, as you said. So what's he think about all this?
He's very supportive. In fact, he was there when we had the sighting of the orb-type objects. Mm-hmm. So I think that's been very helpful if you have a spouse that's right there with you and supports you. Yes. And unfortunately for other people, it's not necessarily the case. So oftentimes that makes it rough for them. But that's when you get down to standing on your own convictions, I suppose.
Right.
But for my case, I'm very fortunate to have a husband who is very much interested as I am and supports me.
Yes. Okay. Good to hear. Awesome. We may put that in a PSA. So listen, do you think, and you mentioned this earlier, and we're going to wrap it up soon. We won't keep you very much longer, but do you think that there are certain people who are, as you say, kind of tapped on the show? There are certain people who just are on Earth to see these things, because I've never seen anything. I say it all the time on the show. Never seen anything even close to what other people see. Do you think certain people are just, more likely to see stuff?
I don't know. There seems to be some kind of pattern to that, and maybe it's historical, genetic. I don't know how to classify it. But you often hear people say, "Well, I've never been able to talk to anybody, but this goes on with my family all the time." And so it's hard to really say, "Yeah, there's a certain segment of society," because everybody's life is different.
Yes.
It'd be easy to say everybody that has brown hair and green eyes, they're candidates. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. But very interesting. And just going back real quick to the Marian Apparitions, what basically we're saying is that the ones that involve the Catholic Church get the most press, right? They're the most heard about.
I think so, because I think it being a church, people are more, I think, accepting of it, rather as somebody who's giving a personal statement about something. And, you're looking at this saying, well, this is a well-respected organization or a church or something that has come out with this information.
Right, sure.
So I tend to agree with you on that. But, yeah, it's hard to say that, like you say, they have the inside track.
Right, yes, right. So listen, we will let you go. The time has come, okay? Thank you for being a good sport and being with us. We really appreciate it. And let's really, a real sincere.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Excellent job.
Looking forward to reading your book.
The name of the book is Storm on the Horizon, The New Age, UFOs, and a Cosmic Christ by Sylvia McKelvey. Just go on Amazon, get it. You'll get it like tomorrow if you order it tonight. Thanks, Sylvia. And I asked this to all, I guess, but would you ever come back?
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll come back anytime.
That's what they all say. Thank you, Sylvia. We really appreciate it. So why don't we take a commercial break now? We're waving to you. We're a radio show, but let's take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Miltrax Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Do you know where the world's most secret bases are located? Do you know what spooky action at a distance means? Is there a conspiracy by aliens to prevent us from conquering space? And where is the best place in the United States to see a real UFO? Find the answers to all these questions and more in Mack Maloney's new book, Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe. Visit places you never knew existed: the Phantom Tunnels of Tokyo, the UFO Trail in South America, Hong's Hat, and the very mysterious M Triangle. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe contains hundreds of reports on ghosts, haunted planes and ships, weird celebrity deaths, mysterious sounds, and a breakdown of every monster in America, state by state. You've heard him talk about it on the radio. Now, get all of Mack's paranormal research in one large volume. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe, with the foreword by the very famous Wan Wan. On sale now in your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong.
When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to. I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom. It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
All right, so listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come back. We're going to come back, and Raven's going to tell Coco's fortune. Then Coco's going to talk about
the Holy See.
The Holy See with the whiskey.
Holy See, just leave it at that. Don't give any more away.
And then, but I'm going to start off the segment with telling you what happened here during the last segment, okay, involving Bob the Ghost.
Yes.
Here we go.
Spill the tea.
You ready there, Lois?
Hey, Pearl is the name of Casper's girlfriend.
Pearl?
Created by Harvey
God, I would have
Comics.
never guessed that.
Interesting.
That debuted in the comic books.
That's an easy one. Come on.
3. Yeah.
Huh. I would never.
What was the name of Tonto's horse?
Pearl.
Scout.
Oh, Scout, right.
Was it Scout?
Here we go.
Scout is the name of my sim character because that's the only life that I live.
Your what character? In 5 seconds?
My sim.
It's
a simulation.
Oh, you're a sim character. Holy cow.
There's a sim life. Come on.
Isn't it? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Welcome back.
Back forward to you. Did he approve the quiz to take to find out what mythological animal you identify with? There's a quiz that I provided to Mac. Did he forward that on to all of you?
He didn't send me that.
It's in the cavalcade of emails that I have.
We need to all take that quiz and then we reveal on air what our creature is.
I know what mine is.
That'd be a good thing to do.
Oh, it's great. It's a lot of fun. The questions are really wacky. I was extremely surprised by the answer that I generated.
For yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Myself.
Okay. What were you, a
I didn't
goat?
answer for you, Mac. I don't have half the answers to the questions for you.
And were you a goat that walked on two legs or something like that?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to. Unless we're all going to play, I'm not revealing.
Okay.
It could be like instead of a gender reveal, it could be your
that's a
mythological
good
animal
idea.
reveal. I think it's a great idea. Thank you,
Can I
Raven.
say this?
Thank you.
That is a
Go ahead.
good idea. If I'm not Medusa, then I'm not coming on the air.
We have started.
Well, you have to answer the
just
questions,
kidding.
girl. I don't know what else to tell you.
So listen, let me start. We're going to leave it in. Hey, this is Mack Maloney, and how would I start it? No, welcome back to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. As you can see, we left the mics on coming out of break, but we're here. JJ's here.
You betcha.
Coco's here.
On the wing.
Switch is here.
Yep.
Raven is here. The with the librarian glasses on, by the way, and also Lois Lane making a rare appearance in the studio. And after what just happened, this could be
Her last.
Her first
her
appearance
last
in the studio.
So anyway, a crazy night. But listen, what happened? We had last segment we had on an author. She was really good. You know, I'm glad she rolled with it. Okay, there was a couple of questions I kept in my pocket, but her name was Sylvia McKelvey, and the name of her book was Storm Over the Horizon: The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. And she knew more than we did all put together, right? Wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Okay, so listen. So
Well,
in the-
Easily.
She obviously linked to the Mack Maloney book.
That's
too,
right,
so
very-
I
about halfway
thought
through.
That was very, very nicely timed. Very,
Okay,
very
the-
subtle, very well played.
the magic of Google. So, but anyway, so in the middle of that, when you guys brilliantly carried on the dance, Lois indicated to me that she heard someone come in the front door. You know,
Oh, yes.
with the bells. Okay.
Ew.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Bob.
No. Yes, Bob.
Oh.
So, and then she runs out while we're on the air. And so then I killed the microphones and I went out, searched the place. But one, you know, that does no good. And now we're here for another freaking half hour with the thing. Heard the door.
I mean, nobody visits unless somebody's going to be on the air in the other studio. Nobody's coming in the door.
No one's coming in the
from
door.
their car, grabbing their lunch or something.
There's no
So-
no car out there.
Can I ask just a simple security question
Go ahead.
Yes.
to
I
help
agree.
isolate this
I know
into
what
the
he's gonna say.
supernatural versus the?
Are we armed? No.
Why isn't the door locked?
Why don't you lock the door
Well,
when you come in?
The door is locked. The
Yeah,
door
it's-
is locked.
it's
and
usually
you,
locked.
Yeah, and
Ew.
you need a key.
Oh my God.
No, it's not locked while we're here, though.
Yes, it is. Sure. When I lock that door, yes, it is.
It's not locked.
When I go out for a breath of fresh air, I have to use the key to get back in. Let's go
That's
test it.
even creepier. If that's
Oh,
true.
That I didn't know.
That's code. All
That
right.
is very creepy.
So
Have
anyway.
you guys saged that place?
Well, if I'm working in the studio and Pete is still there, or when the employee is still there, I said, just lock me in. You know, I know how
Yes.
to find the key if I need to get in. If I have a key now, actually, right? Yeah, I have a key.
I'm going to leave a
So
memo.
I'm good. Lock me in.
I'm going to leave a memo for Pistol Pete.
this is where we
Sage the
need to
place.
bring a Ouija board.
You might not.
Ouija board. Ouija board.
Right.
No accent, New York. Ouija.
We
board.
should just remind people that Bob the
That's what I
Ghost. I mean, we were in this radio station that is like in the middle of a neighborhood. It looks like just another house, except there's an antenna out back. Okay, and it's in a beautiful part of Exeter. I was just out getting, let's say, a glass of water, and their little lounge there. It looks out onto the golf course and
studying
it's
the beautiful night sky over
kidding.
Exeter.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Bob the Ghost. So he was the engineer here for 30 years. He lived like 2 houses down, and he dropped dead just shortly before we started broadcasting from here. Okay, people are probably sick of hearing this story, but
No.
we're here
In the studio or at home?
in the studio. In the studio. Why would he drop dead at home?
I feel
He'd
like,
love
well,
this
because
place.
sometimes spirits can attach to a place that was comfortable to them.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
because
sure.
it happened at the studio, I'm wondering if he's just still going to work, business as usual. Like, I'm just gonna boot lap around.
Well, the stuff would
And
work.
I have a feeling
Turn the
Raven, you may
volumes
not
up.
be happy with all the programming
I was gonna say
activities
the,
at the station.
the
'cause
stuff
he
would
seems
work
to show
better.
up during certain times.
JJ.
Flicking
Probably-
lights, making noises, opening and closing doors.
Probably wonders who these interlopers
Only when we're
are.
doing the Mack Maloney show. Not like
listen.
anybody else's show.
Oh, that hurts my
Juan.
soul. I
Juan.
hate it.
One. That's not like
Listen,
cooperative
listen.
and helpful.
Wouldn't
Mr.
things...
I wrote the forward to a book I never read.
He just hasn't got to it yet. Hey, Juan, don't you think things would work better if there was an engineer here? 24/7.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's inside. Hey,
well,
listen.
That seemed like a little.
We love
like
this
a little
place.
Low
No,
radar, a little low below the horizon
we
shot
love
there.
this
That looked
place.
like a cruise missile that just
No.
came over the crest.
That's
looks like the SS-11 is taking on water here.
I was going for the
That's
cheap
amazing.
joke. I was going for the cheap joke.
Shots fired and secondary fire is seen.
You can't get better I don't know, people to do business with than these people. You know, look what they let us get away with. Come on, you know, they give us the key.
Yay.
Yes, right.
Thank you.
Wow.
And you can listen to the show on Seacoast Oldies.
That's right.
921 and 97.1. They have a great website.
Yes.
You can grab everything from this crazy show.
You know who's featured on that website is Lola Cash. Lola Cash. Let me say it again. Lola Cash. It sounds a lot like Lois Lane, right?
I know that name. Yeah.
Lola Cash.
Yes. Come on. Didn't you see
remember
that?
that name.
She was in all those
Switchy's
ads.
black and white.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm starring in a black and white science fiction flick.
Yeah. What's the name of that? Is that
so
no?
cool.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Is this? Let me take the shades off.
Attack.
Does that guy have a big head?
It's not a flick, actually.
Oh, it's not a movie.
Well, no, they've got the cops there and the Air Force guy, looks like. But those are George Adamski flying saucers.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you remember?
If I was in the movie, they would be masquerading as peaceful Venusians. And then the next scene, the guys would get zapped by disintegration rays.
Wow. Okay.
Of course, I'd be the guy who was warning them.
Yes.
So I would be getting out of the way in just the right time and then develop some kind of a scientific gizmo to get rid of the evil aliens.
Wow. Boy, there's a peek into his life.
For the ray, I guess you could try a mirror. That would be a pretty effective way to just reflect the laser beam back at them. But that's just me plain old physics.
Usually the easiest way is
spoiling the mood. Sorry.
The best way. Hey, so Switchy.
Maybe they're afraid of marsupials or something. We find their Achilles heel.
Okay. Now we're down in Australia.
I find marsupials quite cute.
Okay.
So do I. But
don't we
aliens,
all?
You know.
All right. Listen. Especially those.
I wouldn't trust anybody that doesn't like a marsupial.
Exactly.
Especially those underwear ads where they equate, the
pouch.
The pouch to
what? What are you saying, Mac?
The banana hammock, as the kids say.
Watch it.
Right, yes.
Serena's reacting.
It's okay. She can't hear us. Yeah. Doreen's at home.
And we're not supposed to use code names, Juan. We're supposed to stick to Lois.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
All right. Hey, listen, I got to say, now that we're talking about Australia and all the screwed up things that happened down there, last week, Jocko Johnson, okay, he's like the Tom Brady of the show, all right? He did that thing on the emu wall.
Oh, my God, that's incredible.
Were you guys here for that? Were you here for that? You guys weren't here
No,
for
but
that.
I know of the emu war because I spent some time in Australia. It's a pretty funny little
JJ, you were here. Yes, it's.
I think everyone was here. Yeah, except for Coco.
Except for Coco, right? And it's. I listened back to it on Alexa on that thing, and it sounds so funny hearing Jocko like give this kind of book report.
Brooklynese,
Yes,
Aussie accent.
yeah. And the way he was describing them, they come out in squads, but the emus were. You listen to it and you say, how could they be this smart? They would charge the Australian army that had guns and artillery and stuff. Okay, they would try to catch them out on the flatland, thousands of them, like 50,000 of them. And when they started shooting at them, they broke up into small parts and started like zooming back and forth and zigzagging, and you couldn't hit them because they had small heads, and you couldn't hit them. And they won the war. Yeah. They won the war against the Australian army. Okay, not their proudest moment. Okay,
still very upset the emus that the kangaroo is on the fin flash of the airline, and they're not an emu.
They're
you notice the Kiwis got it all straight. They got the kiwi bird on their airplanes.
Yeah, they're much smaller. But what's
Isn't
the
there an
difference?
emu protection society now? Or
no, they raise them.
Have I not given to enough animal rights causes?
PETA.
Yeah, PETA.
Slipped my mind.
I can. Yeah, got a calendar.
I don't even think PETA can spell emu.
No, listen. What's the difference between an emu? We were nice enough at the end of the show to give out a recipe, Raven, for emu sandwiches. Remember that? Sounded good. Yeah, it sounded like a lot of stuff.
So who here is eating kangaroo? Who here has had kangaroo?
How can you eat a kangaroo? Well, that's awful.
Please.
That's
okay.
awful. That's like eating.
We're passing out recipes for stuff that we haven't eaten.
What's it taste like?
I'll pass on literally chicken. No thanks.
Yeah, really. Hey, listen, what's it taste like?
How avant-garde that we pass out recipes for stuff that we have not eaten and do not intend to eat.
How do we go down this road? Lois, can you save us?
Kangaroo meat in the stores,
How did we get here?
Tuna fish.
What's it taste like? Does it taste like chicken?
I don't know.
It's like a turkey. It's very much like turkey.
Yeah. Those things
mostly
are weird.
dark meat.
When you see them like boxing humans, they're almost like
Yeah.
Humans from a different planet.
Kangaroos?
Yeah,
kangaroos.
Kangaroos.
Emus don't box humans. They'll kill a human if they get their feet up.
Is that what you're talking about that tastes so good?
I missed a key phrase there, and I thought you meant a human in a box.
Me too. I'm going to vom. Let me vom. Hang on. Okay. So listen, let's go to this, okay?
I noticed tonight Raven hasn't had a vom moment.
Okay.
Amazing.
Not yet.
But we're maybe
time.
approaching it.
Okay, listen, why don't we talk about Coco's
the Holy See?
Well, I think the Holy See would be funny after this. So what we're going to do is, we found out what your birthday is, and as we say, Raven has a crystal ball and she knows how to use it. We'll put some laughter in there. So
she's licensed in many dimensions with that crystal ball.
And tonight you're the victim. Okay. Last week Switchy was the victim.
Very true.
Yeah, were you here last week, Switch?
No, it wasn't Switchy.
Who was it? Oh, it was Jocko.
Before I was
It was Jocko. Okay. Yeah, yes. A deep dive into Jocko's life. And it was like 99% true. Anyway, so now it's your time, Coco. Ready? Yeah, where were you in October? When's your birthday?
October.
Really? And so what are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, you're one of those balls. Okay. All right. Let's start. Okay, here we go.
I believe I phrased it almost that way to you, Mac.
Raven.
I didn't use the sphincter as a
to bring that
particular thing, but
okay.
Let us carry on and let Raven
please
give me my fortune.
Please tell us everything we want to know about him.
I show in my crystal ball that you are October 24th. And this is the day of sensational detail. You are ruled by the number 6 and by Venus. You are magnetic in attracting love and admiration. You have 2 major themes in your life, and those are dramatic revelations and discoveries and painstaking attention to detail. While you can be assertive, you have the ability to say more through your silence. So the quality of what you do speaks more for itself versus obviously
what happened?
Speaking.
Hey, listen, Raven, can I just interrupt you for a second?
Sorry, my cat just broke in.
That's okay. Let me introduce you. Let me just...
a cat burglar?
Yeah, let me just interrupt you for a second. So far, this is a foul ball.
What?
A foul ball?
Yes. They're usually a home run or a double or a triple. But
no. If you let me respond, Mac, I will share some details.
Well, take down what she's saying. Write down. We'll discuss each point. Go ahead, please. Raven.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
And I'm used to being a foul ball, Mac, so I don't think that that's a personal thing at all.
No, we're going to discuss. Go ahead.
Okay. You are a perfectionist in your professional and your personal life.
Well, here we go.
Being very aware of the smallest details, and this can make it difficult to live or work with you. And you also despise phoniness and can recognize dubious information quickly. Your strengths, you are magnetic and you are a perfectionist.
Okay.
And weaknesses, you can be jealous and you can be overstressed.
Can I interrupt you?
Your tarot card.
Can I please interrupt you before this? Now you're right. Now we're up to home run territory, okay? Because those last 2. When you agree there, JJ?
I'm writing those down.
Yeah. That was the perfect out of the park.
Give me the tarot card. I'm very curious to what you're claiming is my tarot card.
See what happens.
You have a beautiful card. This is one of my favorites.
Figures.
Your card is the Lovers, and this is a beautiful card. As you can see, we have 2 Canadian geese.
The Lovers.
These are
Those are Canada
tarot
geese,
card.
not Canadian geese. It's Canada geese. I have Canadian neighbors, and Canadian friends, and they're very, very strict about that term. It's Canada geese.
Hey, Switch, can you take a picture of us? Can you take a picture of us? Can you take a picture of us, please?
Okay.
To send out one time.
Who?
Especially,
me?
No. Switch, either one of you. But let me ask you this though. You're saying that the tarot card is the Lovers for him? Did you say Lovers?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
and I will give my reason why.
But listen, 5 years ago, you have to hear this first. We used to have this psychoanalyst. Come on, what was her name? She was the weather girl in Russia. Dr. Laura. Okay, the Love Doctor. And she gave us all titles, and Coco was the friggin' lovely one, right? Remember? And I was the foundation. The sensitive one. That's it. Yeah.
He is a water sign, so that makes sense. He's
water
a Scorpio.
sign.
And I was the action guy.
You were the action guy, and I was the foundation. Maybe she was wrong from the beginning. Who knows? But look, So anyway, all right, now
He's
here he
definitely
is.
the
Yeah, so he has
lovers.
a sensitive side to him. Interesting.
What about that woman that used to come to the studio live? What was her name? I drove her home once because the bicycle wasn't working.
What are we going down that road there for?
What was that?
Before we open up that
let's just switch that.
Memory, as the case may be, 1-1.
Yes.
Do I have a chance to respond to some
Well,
of the
let's
points?
we're still doing the tarot card. The tarot card, please. Is that it for the tarot card?
Let me take the tarot card for last.
Okay. All right.
The number 6 is my number. My favorite number. It's the number that I routinely gravitate towards. So there's no way that Raven would have any clue whatsoever that's 6.
Okay.
I am a person that would love to say that
Number 2.
I would say I'm a person who would love to say that Venus has absolutely no influence on me, but it's obvious that is incorrect. I am definitely under the thumb of almost every woman that I meet.
Oh, wow.
And become part of. So that's very, very true.
Is that what that means?
I'm not that good on being a perfectionist, but I do demand following patterns. I do expect like checklists to be followed.
Wait, hang on.
For that kind of structure.
Hang on, you're not a perfectionist? You're not a perfectionist? Because you're a pilot. Don't you kind of have to be a perfectionist to make sure everything's okay to go?
Correct. I mean, I think that is a defining aspect, that even though I kind of enjoyed the art of the flying more than maybe the science of it, that I see myself filling in there, and that's the reason why I always identified with all your books, the Wingman series, Strike Masters, all of them, is because of that factor that you always seem to very beautifully capture. So I get that. I can't wait to tell I'm going to wake up Mrs. Cobra when I get upstairs after the show's over. She has to get up early for work to tell her about the Lovers Tarot card.
Don't tell her.
And
it was our idea.
Canada geese, rather. And she's going to be so excited thank you in the morning that that I am upstairs with my tarot card.
Tell her we said hey.
Here.
Okay, so that's it? Is that the tarot card? Does it say he's going to win at the track or anything? Anything good?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Wow.
Doesn't work that way.
See, that's
his
a bunch.
card symbolizes the love that unites humanity through the combination of feminine and masculine polarities.
Wow.
So it makes a lot of sense that it's,
he is a sensitive.
It does kind of line up with what Dr. Laura said. I don't see that, quite honestly, in myself, but this seems to be a repeating theme that comes up.
Maybe I'll see it in you.
Yes. I have to give appropriate applause to
I'm just
Raven
reading
for
out of my
coming.
crystal ball.
But I will say this, my children will back this up quite well, that I'm generally a fairly talkative individual. I do, gab is a great length. But when I do go silent, it does tend to really
scare people,
intensely, because that usually means I've passed over into this realm of white hotness and I'm about ready to go off the scales with how I'm going to respond. When I get quiet, that's usually when I am really at my worst.
Really?
Condition. Yes.
Okay. Let us know.
I think that's a very accurate read on me.
Okay. So that said, now we have just this little piece having to do with scotch, right? Now look.
Yes. Let me bring up the proper background picture for this, Mac, while we're queuing this up, because this was an assignment that you gave me today to be ready for.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
What a great rundown to bring this up.
Go ahead.
Well, Mac contacted me a little bit earlier today behind my shoulder. Can we all see who's behind my shoulder?
There's the Pope.
The chair?
The Pope. He's
Can you see what he's drinking?
There he is.
See what he's
wow,
drinking?
he's drinking.
He's drinking some of that holy water.
No.
I see.
Now, hold on. Tell the story from the beginning. Go ahead.
Okay, so Mac gave me a quick little thing, because Mac knows my love of whiskey, in particular Scotch and Irish whiskey.
Yes.
And he said, hey, I just picked this up. I had heard a little bit about this, but didn't pay much attention to it.
Go ahead.
Since I'm a bit of what we call a lapsed Roman Catholic in the business, I've moved on to other experiences along the way.
Yes.
But I do pay attention to when, different worlds collide or intersect. And when His Holiness, the Holy See, was visiting seminarians, those are people that are studying to be priests, in Scotland, they presented him with a gift bottle of Scotch. Of course, now the Scotch like to claim that they are the founders of the particular brand of whiskey called Scotch, which can only have that name if it is distilled and created in Scotland.
Yes.
But it is well known by most of us of the other Celtic branches that it actually originates in Ireland. There's a bit of a debate. We'll let that go. This is not the night for that. The Holy See is with the Scottish seminarians. They present him with this. And and most times when the Pope receives a gift like this, there's usually someone close by that just takes it,
passes it over, right?
But in this particular occasion, he made a very demonstrative motion.
Yes.
He grabbed the bottle, he raised it over his head, he repeated out "Questa è la vera acqua santa," which means this is the true holy water.
Yes.
Which really set off a number of people. Now, there happened to be a group of folks that were there filming it in a documentary format that made note of this, and I'm sure to most of the audience this will not be a surprise.
Go ahead.
There's a rather very critical process you have to go through. Anything that goes through the Vatican has to be reviewed by the Vatican.
Yep.
And when they returned the film, they removed this particular
quote it out
from the Holy See regarding holy water.
Now
They thought it was not a proper statement that should represent the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they don't want the Pope endorsing any particular type of scotch. I don't think that was really the case.
Listen,
I think it was more of a situation where they just don't want the Pope putting any kind of a nod and, the smile towards a particular brand of spirit.
But listen, but let me just make a general statement, if you don't mind.
I do have more, though, here, sir, so please leave me a couple precious minutes.
Oh, yeah.
The story goes on.
Isn't it odd that the Vatican, who is the richest entity in the world, by far, all right, and let's say they've been caught doing some shenanigans in the past 30, 40 years, let's say.
Nice words.
Yep. That they edit out the Pope getting a bottle of whiskey? I mean, come on.
Not at all.
Think
not
about
at all.
that.
Revisionist history is the plague of all humanity.
Yeah, but that's so...
This is why we continue to fall into that. So it doesn't surprise me. What I do find interesting is that they would allow this kind of activity to occur, and then after the fact, not think in this day and age that wouldn't somehow get out. This is what the Pope said, and do that.
So the Pope,
that to me is what I found really weird about that particular part.
The Pope doesn't have the firepower to overrule what the Vatican censors say. Or he probably didn't even know, right?
I would probably think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Obviously, he doesn't have the power, or somebody whispered it in his ear that that's a no-go. We don't do that.
He used to be a bouncer at a bar in Argentina, and he was a boxer at the same I think the same time. So he's been around this guy. Yeah, he's kind of
seminary.
He's kind of a worldly.
Chops, is what you're
saying. He's kind of a worldly guy. Yeah, which is good, because.
But he's got handlers all over the place.
Yeah, he's just sure. Yeah, he's like a head of state.
An entourage. And it's
so let me jump in with a couple more interesting points so we can get these covered. There's an interesting effect. It's called the Streisand Effect that has been linked to this particular event, named after Barbara Streisand, which is a situation where you don't want a particular event. You want to suppress something. And by suppressing it, you bring more attention to it.
Right.
She had some legal matter that came up in her life. It's called psychological reactance is the process where you say, don't think about elephants. Don't, whatever you think, you can think about anything, but don't think about elephants. And of course, what everyone's thinking about when you do that is elephants. That's what they're picturing. The more that you say that kind of event. So that's one interesting aspect. They wanted to suppress this because of the time and age that we live in. All they have done is magnify it. And it has an internet life that is amazing unto itself. Crack Magazine probably has the best description of what went on with this online. Excellent stuff.
See, that's what's funny is that they don't know.
Queen of England, Mac. The Queen of England, who you have spoken about the royal family amazingly, figures in on the story. She catches wind of this, and she gave a bottle of rare scotch to the Pope after hearing about this event.
So now he's got 2 bottles of scotch, and he doesn't know what to do with them?
He's got at least 2 bottles of scotch on this. We don't know what his pronouncement, if this was another holy waters or not. But I do want to always end this up with, when we talk about beer, wine, and spirits, this is an important thing because spirits, this is where spirits in the alcohol sense gets its name.
Go ahead.
When monks would fast for long periods of time, they could drink water.
Yes.
And in their fasting, because they were getting low on calories, they would have deeper religious significant events in their meditations and prayers.
And drink.
And of course, in the passage of time, they would add little bits of things like wheat, barley, things into the water.
Interesting.
The fermentation of that water over time is what led to why so many monasteries are the founders of beer and wine and spirits.
The monks were drunk.
And spirits
Go ahead.
Gets its name from becoming spiritual after consuming it.
Wow.
You would consume it in a state where you have not eaten a lot of food. When you fast, you're only allowed to have liquids. You have these spiritual elements that are added into drinking alcoholic beverages that allow you to commune better with God. And that is why I say, and I often said on my show,
go ahead,
God's peace that surpasses all knowledge and understanding, and I will tip a little of holy water according to the Holy See right now.
There you go. Okay, there
all
we go.
Of you.
Hey, listen.
Cheers.
I was an altar boy. Now, this is all making sense, okay? So one summer, I was the altar boy at the 6:30 Mass 5 days a week for an entire summer. Imagine a kid like 11 years old, and that part of the summer is like ripped out of you. But anyway.
6:30 in the morning?
Yes, yes. And you had to be there at 5:30, so you had to get up at 5 o'clock. No. So anyway.
Was this the high mass? It must not.
No. So the weekly
high mass is only on Sundays.
Yeah, weekly mass.
I know, but
the daily mass.
He said he did it for 5 weeks.
It was in the bottom part of the church, at the top part.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Bottom part. And so what would happen
that's
is
what I meant.
So
down the cellar.
Right, down the cellar, and there'd be 50 people there at most, right? And we'd come out, and the priest, who I'm getting a feeling had probably kind of abstained, he'd come out, and in the altar boys, there's a part in the play where you give him the water goblet and you give him the wine goblet, okay? And we had this one priest, and in the way that you poured it, in the way that he wanted you to stop, is he'd kind of tap whatever you were pouring.
The chalice. It's called the chalice. You bring it up, look through it, and that you tell the.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, Father Daly, baby, no water for him. He would like down a chalice worth of wine and then another one later on in the show, right, and later on in the mass. And so he's already, it's like 6:30 in the morning. He's already 2 glasses of wine into it. 2 glasses of wine would affect me no matter what, but it's 6:30 in the morning.
Easily.
I mean, really.
Easily.
So he's doing the man face, as it turns out.
I feel
he's
like
gone
maybe
by the next gospel reading, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't read the gospel.
I'm not sure which Catholic church you were going to, but
I'm trying to remember the order of the
consecration is after the reading.
Listen, after
but isn't there another one afterwards?
But there were people here.
I think you're thinking of Christmas or Easter.
There you go.
But that one just goes on for days.
Ever and ever and ever, man. You know, who likes that? So
like, here's the 4th bottle of wine, and it's like the first section of it.
Look at Switch. Switch obviously is not of the faith, right, Switchy? You're smart enough.
I'm worried about the invading alien hordes behind me. So
I love you in black and white
Coco,
so much.
Let me just.
He's a black and white kind of guy.
Put it into this.
Could be like a Hugh Marlowe or a Richard Carlson.
Do you think
this is giving me like Alfred Hitchcock vibes?
Wow. Okay. You better go back to color there.
Good evening.
Coco, do you think that, I mean, we got to assume that the Pope has a glass of scotch every once in a while, right?
I mean, why not?
Why not?
I would think he's probably on the same schedule I am.
That's why I didn't say
thing,
frequently.
Drinking Irishman.
Okay.
Aren't they just like not even supposed to have any fun at all? Like no wine, no scotch.
No, that's not the Catholic faith that I'm aware of.
No girls.
No, that's not how I see now.
Yeah, they have fun. You just don't hear about it. That's the problem. So anyway, wow. So that was interesting.
Well, they're not supposed to have relationships other than the one with God.
Yes.
I knew that one.
That leads to trouble, as it turns out. Look, hey, Switch. Do you remember a movie?
No fun with nuns, that's for sure.
Don't. See, now that's it. We can go on all night with nun jokes. All right. Switch, do you remember a movie called This Planet Earth? It kind of looks like that.
It's Island Earth?
This Island Earth, yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, This Island Earth.
Great movie. The mutant guy with the big brain.
With the big head. That's what it looks like behind you there.
Other dudes look kind of human, but they had tall foreheads.
Right, yeah. And they take these people. It's really kind of a good plot. You know, they take people up and, and they try to take over the planet.
The professor gets killed earlier in the movie.
The guy from Gilligan's Island. Right, yeah.
Gilligan's Island.
The only reason I know it is I saw it in Mystery Science Theater, and he walks through and
Mystery Science Theater is so good.
And the robot goes, so much for and the rest, because the first year they didn't introduce him as a character. It was like and the rest.
They actually brought that back.
You were telling us. Yeah, we got to find that.
They did not a reboot, I guess, but a continuation.
Yeah.
And so these youths, they can grow up with it.
Youths. Yeah. See those people. I mean, the way you hear it, because they did do like streaming stuff later on, but they were like was it Schitt's Creek? Ever see that show?
Oh my God, it's one of my favorites.
Fantastic.
They quit at the top of their thing. The MST was finally getting ratings. Like people were watching it, and then they quit. They'd been at it for like about 8 years or so. They didn't know the success they had till it went away. Then you can never, to bring a TV show back is like it just doesn't happen. Unless you're going to reboot something. Yep. Can I change the subject real quick? Do you think after 2 hours, and I'm going to ask Lois this, do you think Ravens accomplished the crazy librarian look? Take a look.
She's got it going on.
She's got it going on. That's the official word.
Over. She's got it all over. Of course, coming from a woman evaluating it, that's really with evaluating.
Right. It makes sense.
I
know.
We're just playing along with anything that comes along. And since I'm under the influence of Venus, everything I say is completely screwed up.
Hey, you're the one who made that confession there. Cece. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, look, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable making the confession, Mac. I'm comfortable in my skin. Okay, I am under my wife's thumb. Yep. Right here. Right here.
Wow. Right here. We're a radio show, but he's displaying something. One thing crushing another. Okay.
This is why we need the YouTubes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we might have to get to work on that. That's a little, But anyway, wow, interesting. So it's probably time to bring the train into a station. If you get my drift there from any station.
It's a very subtle comment, but I do get the drift.
Okay, all right. And it's time to end the show. It seems like we just started, didn't it? Way back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me thank...
Any plugs we got to do?
Yeah, well, let me thank our guest, okay? Because let's face it, she's never coming back. Sylvia McKelvey. No. I almost had...
You think so?
No.
Yeah, why not? I think so, yeah.
No.
I don't think
she would have got a glass of wine when we insinuated she should get a glass of wine. But anyway, do you remember that we had a guest on once? We shouldn't say her name, but she's supposed to be on for like 15 minutes. And we said, you want to stick around? And she said, yeah. And we said, why don't you go get a glass of wine? And she was some doctor or something up in the Hudson Valley. I shouldn't, be that specific. And she drank a whole bottle of wine by the end of the show, man. Do you remember that, Bonnie?
I don't.
She was funny. You were just as drunk as she was.
Remember a woman that drank the whole bottle of wine. She's usually usually on his checklist.
I would latch right onto that. Absolutely.
Having checklist and being a perfectionist, but for a 1-1, that's like
Right.
That's a ticket
That's
to
like
ride.
Candy and a baby right there. A ticket to ride. Wow, there's a nice choice of words.
A
Wow,
whole bottle of wine. Like, how were you not deceased the next day?
Well, who knows? She wasn't.
Literally kill me.
Yeah, right. Well, she's probably going to know the next day, but she had a good time, and it's probably the first time she had a good time in.
That's all that matters.
Several
days.
For her. Yes, several days or at least a weekend. So anyway, let's.
So Mac, in some relevance, Mac, is that I understand that she never returned to the show and she has not been asked back.
That's kind of the road I was going.
We should ask her back.
As it turns out,
you should ask her back.
We did. Yeah, she's busy. As it turns out,
I'm going to read the book cover to cover. Then I'm going to ask some questions for her.
Okay. All right. Who are you talking
to? The doctor from the Hudson Valley or our new guest that was on tonight?
Sylvia. Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, 1-1. The Pope will send you a dispensation if you actually do read a cover book, cover to cover. If you read a book,
he should send me a dispensation because all those movies that I wasn't allowed to see because the Catholic doctrine, the confraternity of whatever,
right? They were
said you can't watch that movie, and I didn't go see that movie.
Yes,
when I was a kid,
and you missed out part of your childhood, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, like House of Dracula.
I'm Curious Yellow.
Frankenstein.
Linda Lovelace. Yeah.
Or something, things like that. They wouldn't let me see.
You got to use crucifixes to get rid of some of those guys.
Wow.
Just say,
or just do this.
3 Hail Marys, and then you're good.
Save the money. Exactly. Just do it with your fingers. Yeah, right.
And then do the shot of scotch, because if the Pope does it, you can do it.
That's right. See, that's the problem.
Henceforth and forevermore on Mack Maloney's Military X-Files, whiskey shall be referred to as the holy water, please.
Yes,
I don't want to keep bringing this up, but the Holy See has spoken. Okay. Can we get behind one small thing here?
He's an expert
One small thing, Raven.
We
holy water.
Yeah. I'm
going to go downstairs and I'm going to have some more holy water after this show.
Do you really? Okay, cool. Give us a report. We had a conversation one night.
And then I'm going to put on that headlamp and go out and chase the horses back up to the corral here.
Wow, okay.
What could go wrong with that?
Teddy?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What could possibly go wrong?
Bring a GoPro, will you?
Life
please?
at the compound.
Okay.
I'm going to see some orbs tonight. I can guarantee you I'm going to see some orbs tonight.
Yeah, okay. That's one reason she won't be back on. But listen, maybe never say never.
With Mrs. Cobra, my newfound lover's tarot card.
Let me just
that's going to get some
put some geese on
play this week, boys and girls.
Had a couple of
gold for you.
Yeah,
that's
gold.
A ticket to ride for you.
Ticket to ride. Amen. 1-1.
Yeah, Mrs. Cobra. Guess what happened? Okay.
Every night when I go upstairs,
really
she's still awake. She'll go, "How was the show?" Tonight when she says it, she's in for a surprise.
No, just tell her that the librarian, the wicked librarian, is the one who did it. We'll blame it on her. Okay.
Okay. Let's wrap.
Let's wrap, as they say in the biz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it wasn't Juan's fortune. We can't really sharing. Let me have some glow here.
Right, I'm getting messages. Okay, here we go. Let's do the plugs real quick. Okay. First of all, just go to Sylvia McKelvey's website. The name
McKelvey?
McKelvey.
McKelvey.
Storm on the Horizon. The New Age, UFOs, and the Cosmic Christ. Excellent kind of title. Thank you.
Not to be confused with Smoke on the Water.
Right. Okay. 5 famous chords. You're looking. Raven, that's okay, reminding everyone that Coco is the sensitive one, and his tarot card has a couple Canadian geese on it. Okay, that's one of the highlights of the show.
It's Canada.
Canada geese. Switchy, you just yawned, or were you stifling a laugh? Tell us the truth.
I was stifling a yawn.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raven, for joining us. Coco, Juan, Switch.
Pleasure to be here.
Lois Lane, thank you for once again being the wheel man for this operation. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
She loves it.
Okay. All right. So thank you.
It's a side hustle now.
Real quick, Homes for Our Troops, just Google them. They're the people who, we talked about them earlier in the show. They built houses for our veterans, our wounded veterans from the Iraq and Afghan war. And when the house is modeled to their needs because they're coming back without limbs or whatever, they just give them the keys. They give them the mortgage. These people deserve this. Homes for Our Troops. Please Google them. Hopefully give them several dollars. Also,
an incredible return on your donation.
It's like 88 cents.
They are one of the best.
88 cents for every dollar. That's very high in the charity biz. Also, our good friend Rashab and his Mad Englishmen friends are putting back together a warplane from World War II, the Mosquito, made of wood because England was running out of steel at the time. They put the 2 Rolls-Royce engines on it. It was one of the fastest things in World War II. So fast, they didn't put guns on some of them because
they could outrun the bullets.
See,
easy. Wasn't even a match.
It wasn't a match. We don't need guns. We didn't need any stinking guns. We can go fast. So anyway, the People's Mosquito Project, please. And then we also want to say Lois did a PSA for us last week, but I'll do it this time, okay? Can you remember the swag PSA there?
Not word for word.
Not really. Okay, well, give it a shot. Let's see what happens. We have a punchline at the end of the show. No?
I really don't.
Hey, fans, we think it's time for you to get some Mack Maloney, what's the name of the show? Mack Maloney X-Files swag. All right, we have pins. We have 3D decals. We have stickers, and we have bar coasters. Right. Yeah, bar coasters are going like crazy. And
be part of the Distant Thunder squadron passing out these all over
everywhere
the United States, and pretty soon it's going to be global. We're going to be sending them overseas.
I have to thank Coco because it was his idea, but all of a sudden now these bar coasters are like going crazy, and we had to just reorder. So thank you.
And I have it on good authority, Mac, that they aerodynamically fly very well in cars in Oklahoma City.
Perfect. Hey, listen. So the way you get all this swag, a bag of swag, you go to MackMaloney.com. Push the contact button, and that gives you a way to send us an email. Send us your mailing address. A lot of people are sending emails and saying, send me the swag. I don't know where they live, right? You don't think I'm going to send it magically.
Not virtual.
Right. So anyway, yes, we need your mailing address. And stuff is going quick, so, Anyway, so that's our plugs tonight. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone one more time. Coco, thank you for joining us. Switchy, thank you for joining us. Okay, we'll see you, Coco, soon.
My pleasure.
JJ, thank you as always. Raven,
welcome, glad to be here.
Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend.
I have a few books overdue. I'll return them soon. Okay. She's laughing. Take my word for it. And Lois Lane.
Good night, everybody.
I have some books overdue. Yeah. I'll bring them back soon. Okay.
Good night, Lois.
Okay. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, who listened to us. Until you hear us next time. This is Mac and the entire gang saying, be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.